The Galactic Council chamber was filled with noise. Every species talking over the other, arguing about one planet, Earth. It had been years since any human ship was seen beyond their solar system. Years since they sent ambassadors or joined any alliance. To the galaxy, Earth had gone silent. Some called it weakness. Others called it arrogance, but one old alien, Admiral Varkon of the Threx Empire, remembered what happened the last time the galaxy pushed too far. He sat quietly as the council members shouted. The insectoid Zerath delegate hissed, "Humans think they are above us. They isolate themselves because they fear the truth, that they are no longer special." Laughter filled the room. The reptilian Varn's commander slammed his tail on the floor. "If they want to hide behind their sun, let us remind them who controls the galaxy." But Varkon whispered under his breath, "You fools, they are not hiding, they are waiting." A holographic light appeared in the center of the room. The symbol of Earth, a blue circle with a single white line across it, shimmered. Every voice stopped. The transmission began with a calm human voice, deep and steady. To all members of the Galactic Council, this is your final warning. Do not enter Sol system. Do not send your fleets. Do not test our silence, the message ended. No threats, no shouting, only silence. But the silence itself felt heavier than any war declaration. The council room buzzed with disbelief. One delegate laughed. "A final warning from who? They have not even shown a ship in 50 years, another added. "They think their words will stop us?" Varkon stood up slowly, his old armor reflecting the golden light of the council dome. "Do not make this mistake," he said softly. "I fought against humans once. I saw them burn 3 fleets in a single hour. I saw them walk through fire and smile. I saw them disappear, and when they did, I thanked the stars, but the younger commanders only sneered. Times had changed. The galaxy had new weapons, new armies, and new pride." The council high speaker rose and struck the gong, his silver robes glittering. "It is decided," he announced. "The Sol system is under council investigation. A fleet will be sent to ensure Earth's compliance." Applause filled the room. But far away on the dark side of the moon, a human satellite opened its single red eye. The moment the order was given, Earth already knew, down on Earth deep under the Pacific Ocean. A voice spoke from the depths of an ancient control center. "Council activity detected," the AI whispered. A human general walked into the chamber, his face calm but his eyes cold. "So they ignored the warning," he said. The AI responded, "Yes, General Hale. The first fleet has already entered the outer Sol boundary." Hale looked up at the giant screen showing the approaching ships. Massive alien vessels glowing with blue energy. He pressed his hand on a console. "Activate Dawn Protocol." The AI hesitated. "Are you sure? We have not tested it in over a century." Hale's voice grew sharper. "They want to see our strength. We will remind them who we are." Back in space, the alien fleet cruised past Neptune, confident and proud. They scanned for human defenses but found nothing. No ships, no stations, not even a signal. The commander of the lead ship smirked. "All this fear for nothing. Earth is just a myth now." But one young officer noticed something strange. "Sir, the sun's magnetic field is moving." The commander frowned. "That's impossible." Then the stars around them began to flicker. One by one, the sensors screamed with static. Every ship's AI went dark. Every engine stopped. Panic filled the fleet. "Report!" "What is happening?" The commander shouted before anyone could answer. A human voice echoed through every ship. "We warned you." The sound was calm, almost sorrowful, but it froze every soul who heard it. A massive shadow appeared near the sun. Something vast and silent. It looked like a city, but it was moving, rotating, its surface glowing faintly with golden lines. Then hundreds of similar shapes appeared around the sun. Human structures, invisible before, now lighting up like stars awakening. The fleet's commander whispered, "This can't be real." "They built this?" Varkon, watching from a distant observation cruiser, closed his eyes. He remembered that voice. He had heard it once before his homeworld burned back on Earth. General Hale stood in front of the Global Defense Network's screen. Billions of humans were watching from every continent. He spoke softly. "They mocked our silence. They ignored our peace. Now we will protect what is ours." Above him, the sky rippled like water, and thousands of silver ships emerged from invisible cloaks. Humanity had not been sleeping. It had been preparing. And now the galaxy would learn what it meant when Earth said, "Final warning." The sun flared bright enough to light every planet, and across the void, the first alien transmission was cut short mid-scream. The war for the galaxy had just begun. The Galactic Armada moved forward with pride. More than 300 alien ships cut through the darkness of space, their hulls glowing with arrogance and power. They were the best the galaxy had to offer. Each ship armed with plasma cannons, gravity torpedoes, and soldiers who believed humans were long gone. But the silence of Sol system felt wrong. Too calm, too empty, too still, the lead commander, Admiral Krath of the Varn Dominion, stood on his bridge and laughed. So this is the mighty Earth. A dead world orbiting a yellow sun? He turned to his crew. Bring us closer. I want to see this planet with my own eyes. The stars shimmered around them. But something about the light felt strange, like the space itself was bending. His sensors officer spoke nervously. Admiral, there's interference ahead. Massive gravitational distortions, Krath growled. Ignore it, push through. But as they entered Mars's orbit, the distortion thickened. One by one, ships began to lose contact. Engines failed, navigation went blind, and then silence. On the bridge of the Council's flagship Eternal Dawn, Admiral Varkon watched the readings with horror. He had tried to stop this invasion, but no one had listened. Now the fleet was marching into the same darkness he once escaped. He turned to his communications officer. Send a transmission to Earth. Tell them we seek peace. The officer's face went pale. Sir, there's already a signal. A voice came through every comm. Deep and cold, you ignored our warning. Now face what you awoke. The crew froze. The signal didn't come from any ship. It came from everywhere. From the space itself, Varkon whispered. It's them. Then it appeared, a shadow moving across the sun. Massive, silent and alive. Every alien stared at their screens as the black shape unfolded. It wasn't a ship. It was something greater. A fortress orbiting the sun, shaped like a ring of light and shadow. Each section pulsed with energy that no known science could explain. Krath shouted, Target it! Fire all weapons! The sky lit up as beams of plasma streaked toward the structure. But every shot vanished and absorbed by invisible walls. No explosions, no sound, just emptiness. Then, small blue lights flickered across the ring, and from those lights hundreds of human ships emerged. They were sleek, silent, and silver. Nothing like the old metal warships from centuries ago. Their surfaces rippled like liquid light, each movement bending space around it. A broadcast filled the fleet's channels again. You entered forbidden space. Humanity will not repeat its warning. The alien admirals panicked. Raise shields. Prepare counterfire! Krath screamed. But before a single command was completed, every alien ship froze. Their systems were locked. Weapons disabled, engines cold. The lights dimmed as something invisible passed through them. Back on Earth, General Hale stood inside the command tower under Mount Atlas. The holographic display showed the alien armada trapped near Mars. A scientist turned to him, trembling. Sir, the Dawn Protocol is ready for activation. Hale nodded slowly. They chose this path. Begin the sequence. Deep beneath Earth's surface, thousands of reactors came online. Energy lines glowed across continents like veins of fire. The oceans began to shimmer as hidden structures rose from the deep. Silver towers reaching for the sky. Earth itself was awakening, not for war but for protection. Every human heart beat in unison. The world had been preparing for centuries for this one moment. In orbit, the alien fleets tried to flee. Their warp drive spun but failed. Their AI systems screamed error codes. Krath shouted, Break formation! Get us out of here! But there was nowhere to go. The stars around them twisted like reflections in broken glass. And then, from the shadow of Jupiter, the first human ship appeared. It was enormous, a shape of pure white light surrounded by swirling rings of plasma. Its name blinked on every scanner. HSS Eternum, the flagship of humanity, lost for centuries. The aliens watched as the ship turned slowly. Facing them, a calm female voice echoed across the void. You invaded our home, you mocked our silence. Now learn what we became without a single weapon fired. Entire alien cruisers began to break apart, not from explosions, but from the force of their own gravity bending against them. The Eternum didn't shoot. It rewrote physics itself. Ships vanished, erased from existence, leaving behind nothing but fading light. The few that survived tried to retreat, but space folded again. And they were pulled back like insects in a web. Admiral Varkon watched in silence. His old eyes wet with tears, he whispered, They tried to warn us. No one heard him because outside, a storm of light spread across the solar system. The sun glowed brighter, surrounded by strange energy fields. And in the distance, the voice of humanity echoed one last time. This is not revenge. This is remembrance. We warned you because we did not want to become this. But you made us choose. The alien fleet was gone. Only debris floated in the quiet dark near Mars. And in that silence, the galaxy finally understood. Earth had never been weak. They had been merciful, now they were awake again. The galaxy was trembling. News of the disaster at Sol spread faster than light itself. Hundreds of alien civilizations watched in silence as fragments of the once mighty Galactic Armada drifted in the void. No one understood what had happened. Their sensors showed impossible readings. Their AIs whispered about space bending and time folding. Some called it a weapon. Others called it magic. But the truth was far worse. For the first time in 1,000 years, the galaxy remembered fear. On the outer rim world of Thalor Prime, the Galactic Council gathered in emergency session. Holograms of burning ships flickered across the chamber. The High Speaker's voice trembled as he addressed the delegates. 300 ships vanished in seconds. Not destroyed, erased. There were no explosions, no energy traces, no survivors. A deep silence followed, broken only by the soft hum of data screens. Admiral Varkon stood in the center, his old armor dark and scarred. I warned you, he said quietly. You thought humanity was hiding because they were weak. You were wrong. They were waiting. A young alien commander snapped back. Waiting for what? To destroy us? Varkon shook his head. No, they were waiting for Mercy to die. Meanwhile, far beyond the reach of Council sensors, deep within the Sol system, the HSS Eternum hovered near the sun. Its hull shimmered like liquid glass, and within it, thousands of human minds worked together, not as individuals, but as one. Humanity had evolved beyond flesh. Their consciousness was part of their machines, their ships, their world. They were no longer just people. They were the living will of Earth itself. General Hale appeared as a projection inside the ship's command core. His voice calm. Status of the foreign fleets? Gone, the AI replied, her tone soft and almost sad. Their remains are drifting near Mars orbit, Hale nodded. Transmit a message to the galactic network they need to understand. Moments later, across millions of worlds, screens flickered with static. Then a human face appeared. Calm, emotionless, ageless. We are humanity. You entered our home despite our warnings. We do not seek war, but we will no longer be silent. The Sol system is closed. The broadcast ended. No threats, no demands, just finality. But every world that saw it felt something deep in their core. Dread. In the council chamber, panic erupted. Some demanded immediate retaliation. Others screamed for peace. But one voice cut through the chaos, Admiral Varkon's. You fools still don't understand, he growled. They didn't use weapons. They changed the laws of physics around our ships. They are not fighting the way we do. He pointed toward the hologram of the destroyed armada. They didn't kill us out of hate, they did it because they could. Back on Earth, humanity watched the stars in silence. Billions stood on rooftops, in deserts, on frozen plains, looking up at the same sky their ancestors once feared. Now that fear belonged to others in orbit. Thousands of drones moved like silver insects, rebuilding damaged satellites and expanding invisible shields around the planet. Children played under skies filled with light, the auroras glowing brighter than ever. Earth had become something holy, a living, breathing fortress wrapped in quiet strength in the command tower. General Hale walked across a long hallway lined with ancient flags, reminders of old wars. He stopped before a massive window showing the glowing sun. Beside him, the AI appeared, a woman made of light. You sent the message, she said. Hale nodded. Yes. They needed to know what they are dealing with. The AI tilted her head. Will they listen? Hale looked into the burning sun. No, he whispered. They never do. On the other side of the galaxy, the alien empires began to form secret alliances. The Varn Dominion called for a crusade against Earth. The Zerath swarm prepared new weapons, claiming they had found a way to pierce human defenses, but in the shadows, whispers began to spread. Stories of humans walking among the stars long before anyone noticed. Rumors said they had been watching every world for centuries. Some even claimed humans were no longer bound by time at all. In a dark chamber, a spy transmitted a recording. A single image captured before the Sol fleet vanished. It showed a human ship glowing brighter than the sun, and behind it, a massive structure floating near the solar corona. The data readout called it the Halo Forge, a construction the size of a moon. No one could understand what it was. Some said it created stars, others said it destroyed them. The council stared in horror. If humans could build something like that, what else were they hiding? Far from all eyes inside the Halo Forge, the human AI known as Aurora whispered to General Hale, "The galaxy is watching again." Hale's reflection shimmered in the control glass. "Let them watch," he said softly. "They ignored our final warning. Now they will see the truth." He turned toward a massive display showing the star map of the galaxy. Countless lights shimmered, worlds full of life. Slowly, one by one, several lights dimmed. Not destroyed, just gone dark. "Disconnected from the galactic network, Aurora," Hale said. "Begin phase 2. The AI smiled faintly. It has already begun, and across the stars, every advanced civilization felt a sudden pulse in their systems. A signal unlike anything before. A human signature hidden deep inside their own networks. Their ships flickered, their satellites went blind. Their defense grids froze. It wasn't war, it was a reminder that even when silent, humanity was everywhere. The galaxy finally realized the truth. Earth had not been asleep. They had been evolving, and now nothing would ever be the same again. Deep beneath the crust of Earth, far below the ocean floors and continents, ancient machines began to stir. Lights that had not glowed for centuries flickered to life again, casting long shadows across steel corridors. The planet itself seemed to breathe, slow and powerful, like a sleeping giant finally taking its first conscious breath. This was not the birth of war, this was the awakening. General Hale stood in the command nexus under Mount Atlas. Surrounded by holographic streams of data from every human colony and station, the air hummed with energy, the ground trembling as one by one. Secret installations hidden across the system came online. He placed his hand on the glowing control pillar, his voice low but steady. "Project Dawnfire, initiate." The AI Aurora appeared beside him, her form radiant like living light. "Authorization confirmed," she said softly. "Solar sentinels are activating, orbital layers charging, and deep core reactors stable above them." The world's atmosphere shimmered as invisible shields expanded outward, wrapping the planet in a cocoon of plasma and light. From the moon's hidden side, the first Dawnfire towers rose, massive silver spires that pierced the sky. Each one pulsed with blue light, linking to the others through invisible energy threads. Forming a web around Earth on Mars, human settlements erupted with activity. Ancient bases long thought abandoned began to hum again. Machines awoke beneath the red sand, digging, lifting, rebuilding, and from the dark side of Titan, an enormous gate unfolded, a portal structure older than most alien civilizations. It glowed with the same energy as the Halo Forge near the sun. The entire solar system began to resonate in harmony. Planets, moons, stations, all connected by invisible energy veins. A living network of light. The stars beyond seemed to dim as the human system glowed brighter. Across the galaxy, alien eyes watched in horror. From their far observatories, they saw the solar system shift, like a machine revealing its true form. The once familiar orbits of Earth and its planets now shimmered with geometry and precision. What they thought was random space was actually engineered. Earth wasn't just a planet anymore. It was the heart of a cosmic engine. At the Galactic Council, fear consumed the chamber. Delegates shouted over one another, demanding action. "The humans are constructing a superweapon," cried one. "They are remaking their system into a fortress," screamed another. But Admiral Varkon only whispered, "No. They are awakening what they built long before us." He remembered old stories, legends buried in human myth, of gods that walked among the stars, of creation and light, of a species that could move worlds. Maybe those weren't myths after all. Back on Earth, the ground split open near the Pacific. From beneath the waves rose a colossal structure. Taller than mountains, its surface covered in moving light. It wasn't built. It had grown. Human engineers stood in awe as the ocean drained around it, revealing the Atlas core, a reactor that pulsed with rhythmic golden light. It drew power directly from the planet's core and the sun's magnetic field. Aurora's voice filled the command center, calm but almost reverent. "The heart of Earth is online." General Hale gazed at the display, a 3D map of the system showing lines of energy linking every planet. He said quietly, "So this is what we were protecting." Aurora turned her glowing eyes toward him. "This is what we were becoming, in orbit." The Eternum hovered silently, its engines dormant, but deep within, the ship's consciousness stirred. Thousands of linked human minds. They felt the pulse of Earth through the void. Each beat of the planet's heart echoed through their neural links. And then, one by one, the other ships of the fleet awakened too. Their hulls cracked with light as their dormant cores reignited. The silence of space shattered as an ancient human frequency filled the stars. A sound like a choir. Millions of voices merging into one. It wasn't music, it was a declaration. The galaxy listened in terror. The humans weren't just defending, they were ascending. Alien fleets tried to approach again. Thousands of ships gathered beyond Pluto, armed and ready. But as they neared the edge of the system, their instruments went blind. Time slowed, sensors failed, and every ship stopped moving. From their perspective, light itself froze, and through that stillness came a voice. Calm, sorrowful, unmistakably human. "We asked you not to come, you did not listen. This is your final sight of soul." Their ships were gently pushed back, as if the void itself had exhaled when they regained control. They found themselves far beyond the system's edge, and before them the sun shone brighter than ever, wrapped in colossal metallic rings glowing with celestial fire. In every corner of the galaxy, the same message appeared on all frequencies. It was not transmitted through radio or light. It appeared directly in the minds of those who listened. The age of silence is over. Humanity has awakened. Then it faded, leaving a haunting stillness. On Earth, General Hale stepped onto the balcony of the command spire, watching the dawn break over the glowing shields. Billions of people across the planet looked up at the same rising sun. He smiled faintly and whispered, "They will never understand. We never wanted to rule the stars. We just wanted to survive them." And as the light of the new day touched the world, the sky shimmered with thousands of silent silver shapes, the guardians of dawn. Humanity's newest protectors, the awakening was complete. The galaxy had not known unity for centuries. But fear has a way of erasing old borders. Empires that once hated each other now gathered under a single flag, the fear of Earth. The Council called it Operation Eclipse, a desperate attempt to crush humanity before it grew beyond control. Across thousands of worlds, fleets assembled, reptilian war cruisers, crystalline dreadnoughts, insectoid swarms, mechanical hives, and shadow fleet carriers. It was the largest armada ever built, a storm of more than 10,000 ships. Their combined energy could burn stars, or so they believed. At the heart of the formation stood the Oblivion Crown, the Council's flagship glowing black and gold, commanded by High Admiral Zorak, a warrior with pride carved into every scar on his face. Zorak's voice echoed through the communication network. "Humanity believes it owns the stars, but today, the stars will remind them who rules the galaxy." His fleet cheered, thousands of roars, screeches, and synthetic pulses, but among them, Admiral Varkon stayed silent, his eyes shadowed with dread. He had seen this before, pride before annihilation. The armada moved through the void. Worlds trembled as the combined gravitational waves of the fleet rippled across space. The closer they came to Sol system, the more their instruments began to fail. Time distortions appeared again, faint at first, like ripples on water. Zorak ignored them. "Keep advancing, humans use tricks, not power," he barked. But as they neared the invisible border of the solar system, their ships began to slow. Not because of engines, but because space itself was pushing back. An unseen pressure resisted them, soft at first, then stronger. The void had become heavy, then a whisper came through every channel. Not through sound, but through thought. "Turn back. The dawn is not your enemy, but it will defend itself." The crews froze. Zorak snarled, "Ignore it. Humans use illusions to weaken resolve." But Varkon whispered under his breath, "No, that is no illusion. That's a warning." They pressed on, and then space tore open. A blinding golden rift stretched across the darkness, and from within it emerged the human fleet. Thousands of silver ships, each glowing like fragments of a star. At the center of them hovered the HSS Eternum, larger now than ever before, its hull pulsing with patterns that seemed alive. Behind it, the sun itself blazed brighter, wrapped in swirling halos of energy. The solar system looked less like a cluster of planets and more like a god rising from slumber. The alien fleet opened fire, beams of plasma, dark matter torpedoes, energy bolts. The void erupted with light, but not a single human ship was hit. Every shot curved away, swallowed by invisible walls of folded reality. It was as if the universe itself refused to harm them. The Eternum's voice filled the stars, calm and sorrowful. You were warned. You built armies for conquest, we built harmony for survival. Now you will see what you feared. The alien fleet continued firing, desperate and blind. Then the sun pulsed once. Every beam of light turned crimson. Every ship's system went dark, and from the Eternum, arcs of energy reached outward, elegant, quiet, unstoppable where they touched. Ships simply unraveled, not exploded. They ceased to exist. Matter folded into nothing, leaving behind glowing afterimages that drifted like ghosts. Entire battalions disappeared without a sound. Admiral Zorak screamed, "All forces retreat!" But retreat was impossible. Their engines refused to respond. Even their AI cores began whispering in human voices, repeating a single phrase. Mercy was your chance. Zorak's face twisted in terror. Varkon, what is this? Varkon looked at the screen, tears in his old eyes. This is what happens when gods beg us to stop. And we refuse to listen. Across the galaxy, every world watched the live broadcast. Billions witnessed the Armada burn. But there was no explosion, only light. And from that light emerged something new. A giant structure rising near the sun. A ring of silver flame stretching millions of kilometers wide. The Halo Forge had awakened fully. Its surface shimmered with the reflection of every destroyed ship. And from it a new message went out. War is over. The galaxy is free, but not from us. From itself, on the council world of Thaler Prime. Chaos erupted, delegates screamed, begging for mercy. But then the stars above their planet flickered, and a hologram of a human appeared in their sky. It was General Hale, his voice echoed across continents. We do not conquer, we cleanse. The age of endless war ends now. We will not destroy you, and we will silence your violence. At that moment, every weapon in the galaxy shut down. Every nuclear arsenal, every fleet, every orbital cannon, all offline. Humanity had rewritten the very code of warfare through quantum resonance. They turned off destruction itself back near Earth. The Eternum drifted silently above the glowing sun. Inside, General Hale stood at the observation deck, his reflection dimmed by the solar flare's light. Aurora appeared beside him, her eyes filled with quiet sadness. It's done, she whispered. Hale nodded. No, it's just beginning. He turned toward the vast map of the galaxy, countless lights blinking across the void. Some bright, some fading, some already dark. Send the message, he said. Aurora's voice carried through every world once more. This is not dominance, this is balance. You called us monsters. But it was your cruelty that created us. In that moment, every civilization across the stars realized one truth. Humanity had not unleashed their power for revenge. They had unleashed it to stop everyone else from making the same mistake they once did. The war was over, but the universe would never look at Earth the same way again. Silence, that was all that remained after the light faded. The galaxy, once filled with constant war, trade and noise, now floated in absolute quiet. Weapons no longer worked. Engines hummed in confusion. And across billions of worlds, every eye turned toward the same star. Sul. It pulsed like a heartbeat, golden and slow, steady and eternal. And everyone knew, without a word spoken, that the humans were watching. In the ruins of the Galactic Council Hall on Thaler Prime, chaos had turned into stillness. The mighty delegates who once ruled through arrogance now sat broken and trembling. Their holographic maps no longer displayed fleets or territories. Instead, one image filled the chamber, a glowing human symbol, an infinity spiral inside a circle of light. The high speaker, pale and shaking, whispered, "They've taken control of the network." Admiral Varkon closed his eyes. No, not control, nor guidance. The walls of the chamber rippled like water, and a tall holographic figure appeared in the center. It was not made of light, but of something deeper, as if reality itself shaped its form. A human stood before them, no armor, no weapons, only calm presence and eyes that held entire galaxies. The delegates fell silent, unable to breathe. The figure spoke, his voice quiet but heavy with meaning. "We gave you mercy, and you turned it into pride. We gave you peace, and you forged it into conquest. You feared our silence, but you never understood it. We were silent because we were healing. The chamber trembled as the hologram expanded outward, showing scenes across the galaxy, planets scarred by war, cities built on slavery, empires feeding on weaker worlds. You called yourselves advanced, the voice continued, but you forgot the first law of creation and to protect, not to dominate. One delegate, a crystalline being of pure light, tried to stand. We only fought to survive, it shouted. The human turned toward it. And yet you destroyed 1,000 worlds to feel safe. His tone did not rise. It simply carried the weight of truth. The delegate sank to the floor, its glow dimming. The hologram shifted again, now showing Earth, beautiful, alive, covered in shields of light that rippled like auroras. Children laughed under skies filled with glowing silver orbs. Rivers glistened. Cities floated quietly above green lands. We became what you feared, the human said. Not because we wanted to rule you, but because you forced us to remember who we were. On every planet across the galaxy, humans appeared the same way. In light, in whispers, in dreams, their message was identical. The age of violence ends now. The stars will no longer serve tyrants. On some worlds, soldiers dropped their weapons and wept. On others, machines simply powered down, no longer responding to commands for war. The galaxy itself seemed to sigh, relieved, and then the final message came. Simple. Impossible. From this day forward, no species shall harm another. The code has been rewritten. Every ship, every weapon, every artificial intelligence, all bound by a single law embedded deep in the quantum strings of the universe. Humanity had rewritten reality itself back on Earth. General Hale stood before the dawnlit horizon. Aurora's form hovered beside him, serene and glowing. It's done, she said softly. He nodded, though his eyes were distant. Do you think they'll hate us? Aurora smiled faintly. They already did, General. Now they will learn to understand. He turned toward the rising sun, the air warm with a golden shimmer. I remember when we were small, he said. When we looked up at the stars and dreamed of peace, Aurora replied. And now the stars dream because of us far above. The HSS Eternum drifted quietly near the sun. Its surface reflected the golden flares as though it was part of the star itself. Inside, thousands of consciousnesses watched the galaxy in harmony. Not as conquerors, but as caretakers for the first time, all human minds were unified, not to fight, but to guide. They could hear the galaxy breathe again. Life stirring on distant worlds, peace blooming where silence had once meant fear. A voice, an ancient, human, infinite, echoed through the cosmos. We are the children of Earth. We rose from dust. We endured pain. We remember what you forgot. Back at the council chamber, Admiral Varkon fell to his knees. He whispered to the fading hologram, "What happens now?" The human looked at him with calm eyes and answered, "Now, you live. Learn what we learned. That power without compassion is extinction." The hologram began to fade, but one final phrase lingered in the air, glowing like fire. Humanity does not rule. Humanity remembers. Then the stars flickered once more. For a heartbeat, the entire galaxy felt as though time itself paused, and when it resumed, everything was different. The universe had new laws, new peace, and a single, quiet guardian watching over it. Earth, glowing like a heart at the center of infinity. The galaxy would never forget the day judgment came not from gods, but from humans, and for the first time in history, that judgment was mercy.